If you are looking at installing a set of radiator braces onto your dirt bike, then this is the video for you, because today I'm going to show you how I installed a set of Carbonteck radiator braces onto this 2023 Husqvarna TE300. Now, not to worry if your dirt bike or your radiator braces are not exactly the same as these. Today's video is still going to give you a very good guide as to what you need to do to get your specific braces installed onto your specific dirt bike. Also, is there anything that we need to modify or cut in order to get them to fit properly? We're going to find out. That said, let's get started. So this kit comes with a set of printed instructions, 4 side plates and a box that contains the fan mounting brackets, all of the required screws, a set of 4 aluminium spacers and 8 aluminium crossbars, which all go together to make up the 2 complete radiator braces. Now, to get this install going, I've already removed the radiator shrouds, or the spoilers as Husqvarna refer to them as, and the fuel tank. And I'm sure you guys have done this many times before, so that should be fairly simple. Then I'm going to go ahead and drain a small amount of coolant. I'm not going to drain all of it, but I'm just going to drain enough to drop the coolant level below the top radiator hose, because these need to be disconnected in order to get the braces into position. And once enough has been drained, I'll screw in the drain plug or the drain bolt once again, and then I'll torque it back up. And looking inside the radiator, we can see that the coolant level is now below the top hose, so nothing should spill out when they are disconnected. Now I'll go ahead and remove the louver by unscrewing the 2 6mm bolts that hold it onto the frame. The next step is to loosen the hose clamp and then disconnect the top radiator hose. And you'll notice that I also had to pull off the radiator mounting bracket from the frame before the hose would fully disconnect. And the overflow pipe also needs to be disconnected. Now, before installing the right side brace, this little plastic clamp needs to be removed and the lower half of it needs to be cut off. And the reason for this is to create space for the inner side plate of the brace and for the radiator hose clamp. As you're going to see at a later stage, this clamp needs to be rotated and kind of tightened facing backwards. And I just used a pair of tin snips to cut the plastic, and it was fairly easy. And once it's cut, it can be screwed back onto the frame. Now I'm going to go ahead and assemble the braces. And each brace is made up of 2 flat side plates, and they are joined together with 4 crossbars and a whole lot of stainless steel cap screws. So I'll start with the right side brace and the 2 crossbars that have the flat sections. Now, there are 8 crossbars in total. 6 of them are just completely round, but 2 of them have got 2 flat sections. Now, these crossbars with the flat sections are where the fan brackets screw on and they mount to the back side of the brace. So I'll apply a small amount of thread locker and then I'll go ahead and screw them into place, but I'm not going to fully tighten them just yet. Now I'll take each of the fan brackets and again apply just a small amount of thread locker and then screw them into place, one on each of the flat sections of the crossbars. And then I'll go ahead and tighten these up properly. Now I'm going to go ahead and mount the fan to the bracket, and I'm also going to tighten up these 4 screws. Now, once these 4 screws are tight, the bracket and the crossbars should kind of rotate and they should all align with each other. And this is basically why we didn't tighten them earlier. We wanted to make sure that the fan brackets and the fan all screw down nice and flat before we actually go ahead and tighten these crossbars. And now that they are all aligned, I'll finally go ahead and tighten those crossbars. And after that's done, the upper and the lower crossbars can be installed and tightened. Now, when it comes to the left side brace, this is basically assembled in exactly the same way, except that all of the 4 crossbars are round and it doesn't have a fan bracket. And you'll notice that I've also left both outer side plates off because these will only be installed at a later stage. Now, in order to get the brace into position, the radiator needs to be pulled away from the frame, and then the brace can be kind of inserted and shimmied down and slid all the way down. And once it's finally in position, the outer side plate can then be screwed on. Now, something to note here, you can't really see it, but there are two holes on the inner side plate that index with the existing mounting points on the radiator. Now, these both have to align and go into place properly before the outer side plate can be screwed on, because it is a very snug and a very accurate fit. And here's a view of the left side brace going into place, and you can see the little holes and the mounting points that I'm talking about. And these are exactly the same for the right hand side, and you can see exactly what is going on now. And once that's done and the outer side plate is all screwed into place and tight, the radiator hose can be reconnected and the hose clamp can be tightened. And of course, not forgetting to plug in the fan. And this is what it looks like fully installed. Now for those little aluminium spacers, these get installed over the louver mounting points, and once they are in place, then the louver can be remounted using the longer screws that are included in the kit. And once the louver is mounted, this is what it's going to look like. I also temporarily cable tied the radiator overflow pipe basically into the same position as what it was before. Maybe at a later stage I'll try and come up with a more professional solution. Now when it comes to the left side brace, this is basically installed in exactly the same way as the right side brace. And now that both braces have been installed, I'll top up the coolant and then reinstall the tank and the radiator shrouds. And you'll also notice now that the louver kind of needs to be pushed back a little bit before the shrouds will pop into place and then the holes will line up. And once these bolts are in, the tank mounting screws can be installed, and the same goes for reinstalling the left side shroud. And once everything is back in place and where it should be, you can't really see the radiator braces. All you can see sticking out the back of the shroud is just the little Carbonteck logo. And to me, this looks really nice. It's really neat, clean, and it looks like a very strong install. If you found the video useful, please give it a thumbs up and leave us a comment and let us know what you think. Maybe you've already got a set of these Carbonteck radiator braces and you're willing to share your experience with us. Also, in some upcoming videos, there's going to be a couple additional items that I'm going to add to this bike. So if you want to see those videos, I'll either link them up here to the left or to the right. Hopefully, we'll see you guys there. Otherwise, thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Cheers.